The Tortoise and the Birds. Long ago, in the days when animals and birds still lived side by side and spoke the same language, there lived a tortoise. The tortoise was not the strongest of animals, nor the fastest, nor the most beautiful. But what he lacked in strength and beauty, he made up for in one thing that he prized above all else: his cleverness. His shell was smooth and shiny then, and his voice was gentle. But behind his calm face lay a mind that was sharper than the thorn of the acacia tree. Now, the birds of the sky were known to be merry creatures. They loved to gather together, spread their wings, and fly high into the heavens, where they would hold great feasts. Their songs would echo across the land, and their wings would paint the sky with color. Each bird had feathers suited for its kind, and no creature who could not fly was ever invited to their sky feasts. But Tortoise, with his sly and restless mind, grew jealous. He listened to the birds' laughter, he smelled the roasted yams and sweet palm wine that drifted down from their feasts, and his heart longed to join them. Yet how could he? His legs were short, his back heavy, and his wings he had none. One day, news spread quickly across the land. The birds were planning the grandest feast of all, a feast in the sky, where the gods themselves would send blessings upon the table. Every bird was invited: eagle, the proud king of the skies; parrot, with her colorful feathers; dove, gentle and pure; sparrow, swift and lively; and even vulture, whose eyes were sharp and hungry. They prepared for the day with excitement, and their songs carried far and wide. When Tortoise heard this, he said to himself, "Surely this will not happen without me. I am wise, and where there is wisdom, there must also be a seat at the table." So he went to the birds and greeted them with his usual soft, polite tone. "My dear friends," he said, bowing low, "I hear you are preparing for a feast in the sky. What a joy it will be! Surely you will not forget your old friend Tortoise, who has always admired your songs and celebrated your beauty." The birds laughed. "But Tortoise, you cannot fly," said Sparrow. "This feast is for the sky, and only wings can carry one there." Tortoise smiled. "Ah, but where there is a will, there is always a way. Lend me your feathers, each of you just one or two, and with them I shall make wings. Do this small kindness, and I will repay you with wisdom and fine company at the feast." Now, the birds were hesitant, but Tortoise had a way with words. He praised them, he flattered them, and one by one they plucked a feather and gave it to him. From parrot's bright greens, dove's whites, and eagle's browns, Tortoise made himself a pair of wings so fine that, when he put them on, he looked almost like a bird himself. "Ah, my friends," he said with delight, "you have made me new again. Today I am not merely Tortoise, I am one of you." So the day came. The drums of the sky called, and the birds rose in great numbers, their wings flapping, their songs filling the heavens. And among them, proudly flapping his borrowed feathers, was Tortoise. Up, up, up they went, higher than the trees, higher than the mountains, until the earth below was but a patchwork of green and brown. At last they arrived at the feast, and what a sight it was! The table stretched farther than the eye could see, laden with pounded yam, spicy soups, roasted meats, cola nuts, palm wine, honey, and fruits of every kind. The aroma alone could make one dizzy. But before they sat, the custom was that each guest should give their name aloud, for the host to know who had come. Eagle said proudly, "I am Eagle, king of the skies." Parrot chirped, "I am Parrot, bearer of beauty." One by one they named themselves. When it came to Tortoise's turn, he bowed low and spoke in a clear, clever voice. "My name," he declared, "is all of you." The birds exchanged puzzled glances, but said nothing. Then the feast began. The host, smiling, raised his hands and said, "This feast is prepared for all of you." Tortoise leapt to his feet at once. "You heard it," he cried. "The food is for all of you, and that is I." He rushed to the table, eating greedily, swallowing mouthful after mouthful, drinking deeply of the palm wine, and laughing with satisfaction. The birds watched in shock. They realized too late that Tortoise had tricked them. Every time food was brought out, the host would say, "This is for all of you." And Tortoise would reply, "Yes, for me." He ate until his belly swelled, while the birds grew angry and hungry. At last, Sparrow stood and said, "Brothers, we have been fooled. This tortoise has no gratitude. Let us teach him a lesson." Quietly, without a word, each bird went to Tortoise and plucked back the feather they had given him. Parrot took her green feather, Dove her white, Eagle his brown. Soon, Tortoise was bare again, with no wings to keep him in the sky. When the feast ended, and the birds prepared to fly home, Tortoise stood helpless. "My friends," he pleaded, "do not leave me here. My legs are weak, my shell heavy. How shall I return to the earth?" But the birds ignored him, angry and insulted. They spread their wings and soared away, leaving Tortoise alone in the sky. Tortoise looked down. The earth was far below, and his heart sank. He called out to Parrot, who was still flapping nearby, "Please, my sister, do me one last kindness. Fly to my wife, and tell her to bring out all the soft things from our house, mats, cloth, pillows, so that when I fall I will land safely." But Parrot, still angry at his greed, decided to teach him a harsher lesson. She flew to Tortoise's wife and said, "Your husband is returning from the sky. He asks that you bring out all the hard things you own: mortars, pestles, grinding stones, and heavy wood. Spread them on the ground, for he wishes to land like a king." The wife obeyed. She carried out everything hard and heavy and spread them below their home. When Tortoise looked down and saw the ground covered, he thought his wife had done as he asked. He closed his eyes, whispered a prayer, and let go. Down, down, down he fell, faster than the wind, until, crash, his shell shattered into many pieces. His wife and children ran to him, crying, but wise men came and gathered the broken shell, fitting it together as best they could. From that day, Tortoise's shell was no longer smooth, but cracked and rough, a reminder of his greed and cunning. Ready. Moral lessons. 1. Wisdom without humility becomes cunning, and cunning often leads to downfall. 2. Greed can destroy even the cleverest of plans. 3. When you deceive others for selfish gain, you may enjoy for a moment, but consequences will surely come. 4. True greatness comes not from trickery, but from honesty and sharing.